All right, welcome everybody. It is April 3rd, and I am just so excited to interview a new global director. And this global director is the first one that I have not been personally involved with. So she is Meg Johnson. I'm Susan Pallas, for those who don't know me. And I've been a coach for 10 years, 10 and a half years. Loved every minute of it. I'm a global director. And when I went to my first incentive trip, I remember me and Amber Smithson, we made global at the same time. And then the next year she came to the incentive trip and she had a global on her team. I go, how'd you grow a global? I want to grow a global. So it's such a really cool thing when you can participate in someone's growth, inspire them, and it's great when they grow beyond you. So anyway, Dee Corchin grew global, Meg and I. So this is for me. If y'all all hang up, it's fine because I've got my questions that I want to know from Meg because she knows things I don't know. And as does Dee. So I'm just so proud of Dee. I'm so proud of you. I'm so excited. All right, so I'm going to start with the question. Meg, who were you before Optavia?
Well, first, thanks, Susan, for having me on. This is so kind of unreal. I'm kind of having an out-of-body experience here that this is even happening, so it's pretty fun. But when I started before Optavia, I was a stay-at-home mom, bored out of my mind, struggling for impact, just changing diapers all day long and eating my feelings all day long too. And that's really when I knew I needed to get healthy. And so I had my first share call with Dee, I believe it was December of 2016, and I told her no. And she kept on following up with me throughout every couple of weeks or months until I started in May and became a client 6 months later after our first share call.
So she followed up with you. Did you think she was obnoxious? Did you think she was a bug? Was she bugging you? What did you think when she would just follow up with you?
I thought she was persistent for sure. Honestly, when I look back at our messages, I never really responded, but it did something to me, right? Like she would send me a lot of times a before and after. She'd say, hey, I saw this before and after, made me think of you, whatever. And I would look at it and I would think about it and then I'd keep going. I would never say thanks so much. So I was just silent until the pain of staying the same was so great that I was ready to jump all in.
And where did you meet Dee? How did you find Dee? How did Dee find you? What was that connection?
So I was a financial planner before I was a mom, and she and Larry, her husband, worked at the company that I worked at. So and I think she helped us with some insurance things when she was in the insurance industry, or not, I think, but she did. So I kind of knew her, but not really. And then one day she friended me on Facebook completely out of the blue. I mean, we hadn't seen each other or anything. Wasn't in contact with Larry. And then I started seeing her marketing, and I knew she was passionate about coaching.
Hint, hint. So, the people, your husbands, your wives, your spouses, who they knew when they worked, it's just it's a connection. So cool, so cool. And she just friended you on Facebook, and then you just started observing. And then did she reach out? Did you reach out to her? How did that work?
Yeah, I reached out to her and said, I wanted to do something, and I was in the fitting room at TJ Maxx trying on. I was in a sea of black shirts everywhere, getting ready for family pictures, and I just wanted to hide. And so in that moment, I was like, I need to call Dee. I need to figure out what this thing is that she's posts about all the time. And so, and I talked to her, and it was a no. It was we can't afford that. We are broke. We are barely making anything right now. We're just trying to survive.
And so then that was in December. And then in May, you finally called her back. And I think it was kind of a cool story in terms of what had you, when you were thinking about it, what had you say yes?
Well, I was just at the end of my rope. I'd burn 600 calories at the gym and come home and eat lasagna and drink a glass of red wine and be like, why am I not losing weight? So, I mean, that's keeping it real. I was just on this hamster wheel. I mean, I wasn't gaining weight, but I wasn't losing weight. And I just felt gross. And it'd been 3 years. And so I told Will Mother's Day was coming up, and I was like, listen, I know we don't have a lot of money. I need you to believe in me and just give me 1 month. I need, 1 month. And so I even told Dee, I said, listen, Dee, I'm going to do this for a month. Don't expect me to do, I was a terrible client. Don't expect any more from me, because look, we can't make that happen. But I'll tell you, 10 days into the program, my husband had tears in his eyes, and he was like, you're Meg again. He's like, I got my wife back. He said, I don't care how much this costs or what we got to do. We're doing this, and you're doing this thing. And it only took me 10 weeks to lose the 30 pounds. And, I wasn't there 10 days in, but you get the idea.
I get the idea. So so you were sold, you loved it. How did the subject of coaching come up?
Yeah.
How did he approach you? How did you approach her? How did that come up? What did she say to you?
Yeah, she was persistent. And I was very persistent in my response that I was not interested at all, would never post on Facebook, would never sell anything, was not interested. But she, again, would cast vision and be persistent. And then at one point she said something like, hey, let's just get on a call with my coach, you, Susan, and just explore this idea. And it was right around convention, and y'all were, saying I should come to a convention. And I was like, I think I was more open at that point after watching the webinar and talking to you. I think that opened the door a little bit.
So how many no's did you give?
I don't remember. So this is a guess, but I would say at least 5 or 6.
Okay. Write that down. Check mark. So until and it has to be someone good that you want. I mean, she obviously saw the passion in you. All right. So and then you said, what made you finally just say, again, after maybe us talking, and what made you say yes?
Well, I had a friend that came to town. I told this, I think, at our last meeting, but I had a friend that came to town. We sat on the couch, and I was like, listen, my coach and her coach are talking to me about doing this thing, and I just need to run it past you. And so when we did that, she goes, well, not only do I think you need to do this, but you need to do this, and I'm going to be your first client.
Bam.
And I was like, well, and I even took a picture of myself when I pushed the button, and I was like freaking out. But now I'm so glad, 20 months later, I mean, this has been such a gift for sure.
No kidding. So I asked my friend too, and she says, I thought, do you think I should do this thing? I don't know. And she says, yeah, I think so. And I go, oh, she wasn't my client. That was really good. You got it. And she says, yeah, it sounds good. And then I woke up with a cold sweat after I did, so so I just want you to know, everyone's got buyer's remorse, thinks you've done the stupidest thing on earth, and then you don't regret it. You don't look back. So these are yours. So I said, I wanted to talk about magic, because everyone thinks this is magic, but it's not magic. M for mindset, A for actions. G, getting up when you got knocked down. I for inspire, who inspired you, who you inspire, and creating, and what kind of system structures do you create to your business. So I'm going to ask you some questions around that. So mindset, we all know how important it is. Tell me, we talked about, you didn't want to sell anything, and you weren't going to post on Facebook. What other concepts did you overcome, and fears did you overcome to create the mindset about what you are doing?
Yeah, I have a lot of fears. Even to this day, I have a lot of fears, like every day I'm like jumping into. And I think one is like, what if I'm not going to be good enough? What if I try this and I fail? What if I post on Facebook and nobody cares? And that's something I hear from almost every new coach that I've ever coached. They all say that. And now I can say with confidence that never has happened. People care. So I think that was a big one. What if I'm not what if I'm not good enough? That's a big, just a theme in my life. Like, oh, I hope I'm good enough. And do I have time? Because I got 2 little babies, And I quit my full-time job so I could be a fully present mom to them and to Shep at the time. And that really was, I think, of the big part of what I told you and Dee is like, listen, I don't know if I have time. I really want to be present for my kids and pouring into them. So it's just kind of cool how things just evolve. And I think what helped me is y'all held open hands. So I try to do that in my business. Like, you can create whatever you want. If you can give this business 2 hours a week, we can work that 2 hours. If you can give us 4 hours, we'll work 4 hours. If you can give us 10 hours, watch out. We're going to do something pretty special. So I think just meeting people where they're at and not forcing it, for me, was really helpful.
When did you get that rhythm in your mindset about that you're making a difference for somebody? When did you get the specialness of what you had, the gift that you had to offer? When did that come in?
I think it comes in waves, like even now. Like in the beginning, it happened like the first couple of weeks when I'd have clients lose, 5 pounds and feel better. And it was like, oh, great. Like, that's so great. Now having coaches that are taking their families to Disney World or rented beach houses with their extra income that they're making. And that is like, now that lights my heart on fire. I want to help people feel financially free because I know what that's like. I know what it's like to be broke as a joke and not be able to, and I was making homemade birthday cards for people out of construction paper because I couldn't afford a $1 card at the, dollar spot. So I know what it's like to be at that point. And now living in the freedom that we are, it's just insane. It I have chills and like I could cry. Like
who has chills? Everyone had chills because there are goosebumps all over. I get it. All right. So it's one thing to have a good mindset and to know you can make a difference for people. What are the actions that you take? So first of all, when did you decide you were going to just go for it? I mean, I'm sure you just helped a few people. And then what made you make the decision to go for global or to grow your business?
Yeah. I think it was just the belief that when I could see that it was possible, like coming to convention and seeing like, okay, like this is really possible. And every time I come to an event, it gets a little bit bigger for me. So I think that was certainly it. I think when I first started and, I think I went ED for like in the first couple of weeks. And then when you're in ED, the income you're making. And I was like, well, okay, this is kind of fun. I can go to Chick-fil-A now. And so I think that was just kind of cool to see the difference I was making for my family. And the stress relief for Will, he was like, man, this is helpful. Keep going. So I think it just evolved over time.
Yeah, I love that. I was one who, when people say they don't have enough money to buy the program and then they go out to eat fast food. I was one, McDonald's. We didn't do, you don't do fast food if you don't have money. I'm sorry. Even fast food you cannot do if you don't have money. It is too expensive. So I get it. And the feeling of helping your husband out, who's right, it's there's nothing, again, chills. It's and helping your family and taking your family to a different level. So I get that. Now so what do you do daily? You can't do it all. How do you prioritize? So you've got coaches, you've got clients, you've got kids.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I got coaches.
And that's not even the husband or the, friends or the parents or.
Sure. It gets messy sometimes. Like, honestly, it does. And, your question was, what do you do daily? And I don't know that I can tell you what I do daily. I can tell you what I do consistently.
Perfect.
Because things every day is different. But I'll tell you, anytime somebody wants information about the program, they go to the top of my list. I don't care if something, if like, I just, that's first. And now I would add the place I am now. Anytime somebody's interested in learning about coaching and exploring coaching, if it's a coach of my coach, got on Ashley, we've done explore calls with some of her clients this week. So it's like, that is key for me. So that's something that I definitely do consistently, showing up on Facebook and on social media. Because here's the thing is like, people think, I hear this from coaches like, oh, that become a coach. Like, I lost 50 pounds. People are just going to ask me what I did. And yeah, to an extent, like somebody will ask you that, but you miss out on a whole population of people that need hope. They need help. So I love posting, and I think you got to post consistently, because every one of your friends is going to be thinking, well, some of them are going to just say, sign me up. But some of them are going to be like, okay, let's wait this out and see if Meg is legit with this. See if this is just a thing she's doing or if she loves it. And so that's why I tell all my coaches, post, and then post about having fun. Because if I didn't think Dee was having fun, if I thought she was just doing the 3, 3, and 3 just to have something to post, that's not something I want, right? So I have to make time to create good content. So for me, that looks like in the morning when my kids aren't around. So I have a rock solid morning routine.
Tell me about your morning routine to create content. That's really good. Tell me about that.
So I wake up before anybody in my family, ideally. I mean, I'm not perfect, but wake up before any of my family, and I go for a walk. Sometimes it's to the mailbox. Like, I'm not out there running marathons in the morning, but even just getting outside and noticing, oh my gosh, the birds are chirping and the moon is out. And it's just like, it awakens me. It like puts me in a creation. Drinking water is huge first thing in the morning. That's like, somebody says you got to eat the frog first thing in the morning is something I think Rachel Hollis says. So drinking that water first thing, starting my day that way. And then I go for cappuccino for sure. And then I spend some time thinking about my day, spend some time in a devotional, just trying to like prepare my heart for the day. And then I like to batch process. That's something I learned at convention or Go Global or something, but it's like basically doing things that are alike together. So I have a running email of like posts that I think would be good, like things that I need to, like I always like to put my own words in there. And then I save Facebook messages throughout the day or Facebook. So in Facebook, when you open it, if you see somebody's post and you like it, you can save it in a certain thread. So if I'm going through the day, I'll just save other people's posts. And some people in this group, I just save your post, and then I'll go back when I'm looking for inspiration and see what's out there and kind of see where I'm at, kind of try to create something.
Love that. That's such a great idea, because you always run into writer's block. So you do that, and do you do 3 posts a day? Do you do 5 posts a day? Do you do 1?
So my goal is to do 3 posts a day. Yesterday, I did 3 posts. That was great. Today has been insane. I didn't do the work this morning. Full disclosure, I didn't do the work this morning. And then I was behind the 8 ball, and I've just been playing catch up. So I even tried in the middle of my day. I had something I wanted to say and I couldn't put it together.
Yeah.
And so that's going to have to be tomorrow, and I'm not going to beat myself up over it. It happened, moving on. Tomorrow's a whole new day. So that's a good thing for me to remember. Okay. That's why I got to wake up in the morning. That's why I got to go for a walk before my kids, do their thing.
I love the way love that you let it go, because I think the beating up on ourselves just is so destructive, and it doesn't help one bit. So I'm at the G, getting up when you fall. So again, you just do the next right thing, right? That's what I'm hearing you say. All right. So you had some momentum. I remember Dee telling me about you. She says, Meg's really, she's cooking, she's doing great. Then your daughter breaks her arm. And I think you'd even been ED, or congratulated a celebration call, and then boom. So you're at the hospital for a week. Breaks her arm or leg? What?
Leg. Yeah.
Yeah, leg. So and how old was she? 2?
No, she wasn't. She was what was she? She was 1 and a month. She was like 13 months old.
Yeah. How do you okay, so talk about that. So we don't have to talk about everything, but can you imagine that, anybody? And then if that wasn't bad enough, your mother-in-law was diagnosed with a terminal cancer, and you wanted to spend time with her, and you spent time. And then how long did she live before passing on?
She got diagnosed February 5th and passed away in September. Mm-hmm. But she was really okay until June. So it's like, the last, like middle of the year, that was really hard. We were taking care of her, and all hands on deck.
And how did you not throw away what you've created with your business? So many people would use an excuse because it couldn't have been easy. And you are a doer, so you're doing for everybody, I knew. And so how did you keep your business rolling, and how did you keep your heart, on the right path?
Yeah, I definitely didn't do things perfectly, for sure. But one thing that was helpful is she lived 45 minutes away, and I would go to see her every day. So I had 45 minutes there and 45 minutes back. So I had time in the car where I could call people. So it just went through my list. The best investment, I'm going to pull it out. The best investment I have ever made in this business is these AirPods. If you don't have these AirPods, I hope this is okay. I'm not getting paid by Apple, but these are like these little things you put in your ears, and you can talk to clients while you're like in the car or folding laundry or chasing a baby or whatever. And that's been my lifeblood, because I couldn't have the cords coming from my ears. It was just too much. So that's been a helpful tool for me. But I think knowing that I had people depending on me, right? Like my clients and my coaches, and, like I care about these people. And so I just tried to make it about them, and to remember, this is temporary. This is not going to be forever. This is a season. Do what you can today as much as you can and keep going. So I definitely wasn't perfect. I made my family the priority in that season, and just kind of did what I could to survive, and have picked things up since. So
Beautiful attitude. I love that. Was there any worst decision that you have made in your little short time as being opt to be a leader?
Yeah. So I've made a lot of bad decisions, I'll say it. But probably the biggest one that I can think of was around convention last year. So I'd never been to convention. I didn't know what to expect. And so I kind of took the approach of like, I'll come, but I'm not going to push it for anybody, because I don't know how good it is, and I don't know what's there and whatever. Like, so I would invite, and Dee would be like, you got to invite. So I'd invite like, hey, I'm doing this thing. Are you going to come? And 4 people came. So that was kind of cool. But I think I had like 10 or 15 coaches at that point. So it could have been. And I remember you and Dee got on the phone and fought for some of my people and said, you got to come. Like, she reached over me and like pulled people like Lauren. I was just like, well, Lauren says she's busy. And Dee was like, no, we're fighting. She's coming. And so I was like, well, okay. Like, I don't even know what convention is. But looking back, I really wish I could have trusted y'all more to know, okay, this is the magic sauce. Because if I could have had more people, because, we all have coaches that come in and come out, and they have things going on, whatever. My business could be in a completely different place today had I have really encouraged people to show up at convention.
Write that down. That you can take to the bank. It's funny. It's like, if I have one strategy, it's I'm going to fight for something that's getting them to convention, because then you can see the bigger view, right? Lauren really, couldn't believe it. And we've dragged people there that haven't known, and it's like, oh my gosh, it changes everything. So that's beautiful advice right there. Beautiful advice. And what's the best decision you made?
I think asking for help was the best. So I've got these 2 little babies. And so December of last year, I started having somebody help me 2 hours, 4 to 6 p.m. on Monday nights. And I was like, oh my goodness, I can get so much done in 2 hours and call clients. And that was great. My business grew from doing that. So then in January, the day Kellyanne broke her leg was the first day of our first nanny. It was not a great day for her. So I had guilt after that. I was like, maybe we don't need a nanny. They're going to break Kellyanne's legs. I don't know how this is going to go, but whatever. It was okay. But anyway, so I started having help 2 days a week. And then we lost over the summer, and it was like piecemealing things together. Cause I really think for me, I've got 2 really little kids, and like, for me, it's helpful to have, I ran this business for a long time in nap time hours. I drove in circles around my neighborhood doing share calls, just hoping that they wouldn't scream. And sometimes they were like, Mom, why are we going in circles? I'm like, don't worry about it. We're good. And I'd go to the gym and so I don't want people to think you need a nanny, because you definitely don't need a nanny. But eventually my business got to a place where it was so big, and I'm not trying to say this like in a braggadocious way or anything, but just it became hard for me to manage everything in nap time hours or at the gym hours or driving in circles and still being a fully present mom. And I was at the place financially where we could afford to do that, right? Hope this is okay that I'm sharing this. But so when we got that nanny, I mean, my income just got so much bigger and I got so much freer, right? And that was really helpful for me in that season. And now I have somebody that cooks for me. They do my laundry. Y'all, I don't do laundry anymore. She folds it and puts it away. It's the best. And I feel like it's like a pride thing almost. Like it was so hard for me to ask for help. Like I feel like I'm a person of faith. So it's like, oh, I should, for some reason I have this thought in my head that I should do everything with a smile and perfectly calm or whatever. And now I'm like, you know what? Like you need to do what you're called to do. And if your highest and best use is not doing laundry and it's inspiring coaches or coaching clients or whatever, then do that and don't worry about your laundry. So for me, that's been the biggest thing, is learning that it's okay if you need to ask for help. Maybe that looks like getting on the phone with your mentor coach because things are going sideways and you need help. Maybe that looks like asking your spouse. Will honestly was a little annoyed with how much time I was spending on the phone. And he was like, man, Meg, like this is cool and all, but sure is taking, a lot of time away from me or whatever. And it wasn't until he came to events and he started seeing what was possible. And now he's like, what can I do to help you? So he had a huge shift. When I couldn't do anything that I do now without his support. It's been like a little bit of a whirlwind, and I'm super thankful for that.
Amen. That's so cool. And I love that you invested in your business and yourself so that you could grow. And how many times do we not ask for help, whether it, around our house or whatever, and things don't grow. So I love that you had that foresight and the payoff right away so that you kept going. All right, let's just go a little bit longer if that's okay. I'm sure it is. Okay, so inspire is the I. Who inspired you? And I know that who was in Optavia, who inspires you? And then how do you inspire your clients and coaches? Let's just go straight to coaches. How do you inspire your coaches or your clients to look at coaching? Because you said no 6 times.
Yeah, I think it's being willing. Like I heard no twice from 2 separate people today when I brought up coaching. So I fail a lot. I hear a lot of no's, but I'm persistent. So somebody who said no to me in the past, I brought it up today and she said, yeah, I want to explore that. Why don't you send me that webinar? So I send them a webinar and the frequently asked questions about coaching. And then I schedule a 3-way call with me and my coach to explore the idea of coaching. So, and I think it's figuring out where, like everybody gets something different depending on where they're at. Like some people need it for the personal accountability. I needed it financially. I also needed to have impact. So, figure out what bucket they're in. They may be in lots of different buckets, and talk to them about how coaching can impact that particular area.
Beautiful. I love that. And so the conversation looks like you're asking questions and seeing what they need.
Yeah.
Kind of bring it up again when you talk to them on their share calls and that sort of thing.
And anytime anybody gives me a referral, I'm always asking for referrals. And anytime anybody gives me one, I say, okay, or you could coach them. And I'm happy to show you what that looks like. I can, walk you through it. We have an apprenticeship style. I try to make it sound really easy because we know it's easy. We know your coach is going to walk you through everything, right? But they don't know that. So trying to remember, okay, what was that experience like for me? So, and what fears did I have?
Great. Beautiful. And tell me about, okay, so what else? We're on the C now. We're going to go straight to C, creating. What are there structures that you do? You've already talked a little bit about that. Anything you want to, a tool that you want to share with us? Something that helps make your day go smoother? I love the earbuds. Anything else?
Yeah. I think using the system that we have, using the binder, being organized. I made a little spreadsheet for me because I'm a spreadsheet nerd and I was in the car so much. I needed to be able to type things in and have reminders that way. We've got great tools with the newsletters, Optavia Share. I'm always surprised that people aren't using those because it's just so easy. It takes like 2 minutes to send out that newsletter, which makes a big difference. So that's been huge. As far as people trying to grow to Fibic and grow to global, I don't know if you've seen it, Susan, but Will made me a spreadsheet to figure out. It's like downloading a couple of things from Optavia Connect, but it basically takes every coach in my organization and where they're projected to be at the end of the month. And then, so I can look at, okay, who is close to Fibic, who is close to ED, and then they become the priority. Okay, what can we do to help you run to ED? And making it easy. Like a lot of people don't realize, oh, that's only 2 clients, but that's only 2.5 clients, like whatever it is, because it seems the word executive director seems a little scary for people at first, but really all it is helping like 18 people. And we all know 18 people, right? Like, so I think breaking it down so that it's not overwhelming for me has been helpful, and going blended. And that spreadsheet helps to know, okay, how many clients does their coach have and where are they projected to be? And then I'll usually step in on a support thread with my coach and my coach's coach to say, hey, so-and-so noticed, you are 1 client away from making senior coach, would you like to go for it this month? Or, even better would be the coach would step in and do that.
Beautiful. And so you had this on we'll have to see that spreadsheet because Andy made me these elaborate things and I never looked at it. So he says, I'm not doing all this work or if you don't go look at it. So anyway, I love simple, but that's a great way. And Ron is always in the back office and he's my little ear, do you know that? And it's really good because you're right. Some people don't even know what it is and they're being successful. They're helping people. And they don't even know that they're there. They don't even know what a rank is, but they're there. So, all right, what's next for you? What are you creating? What's your vision for the future?
Well, 3 months in a row of global director. That's next. I would love to go to Sundance. I have a vision board and Sundance is on my vision board. Would love that. And I want to be an integrated presidential director. I don't know, that's the next step. Integrated global would be the next step. But that's where I would like to be because I want to bring people with me. I want, this has blessed my family's socks off in ways I never dreamed of. And I want everybody to be there.
Bam. All right. Well, I have taken up all the time. And so does anyone have a burning question for Meg? Because was everyone inspired? Because, I am awesome. Anyone have a quick question for Meg? No, Molly, you had wanted to say, but she answered some of them, didn't I? I got your question in there, didn't I?
Yeah, I got one. It just took me a couple minutes to unmute myself. Yeah. First of all, I really like your energy. I can tell why you're successful. You have a lot of charisma, and you're somebody that I'd say, yeah, I'd like for you to be my health coach. So I think that's important. But tell me again how long it took you to go from 0 to where you are now.
20 months.
20 months. So that's encouraging. I'm just starting out with this. I've left my job. I will leave my job as a dean of the School of Business at a university on April 24th because I took an inventory of my life and I said, what are the things in my life that have given me the most satisfaction, the most pleasure, the most fulfillment, where I've had the most fun? And it's always been working with people and coaching and working with groups. And I was at Dale Carnegie business for a long time. And so that was the thread. And then I said, well, am I doing that now? And no, I wasn't. And then I asked myself, well, why not? I'm kind of up in years and I thought, do I want to spend the rest of my life going to a job every day that I really don't like? So I've decided to take a big risk and step out and go into this full time. I have seven clients now. That
Awesome.
and like last month, I don't even know the ranks yet, but
Right.
the website said I was a manager, whatever the heck that. But I'm glad to hear that it's possible to do it in 20 months, because one of the good things about getting older is your time horizons get shorter, and you have a greater sense of urgency on things.
Oh, I love it. Well, tonight, the trilogy call at 9:00 is on people in retirement that have become coaches, successful coaches. So that's at 9:00. The trilogy call.
Good.
I know, right?
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? Anyone else? Ron, do you have anything you want to share? Any wisdom you want to share with Meg? I know.
Well, I'm just excited for Meg, and they've done a great job. I'm excited. I watch their business every single day, like I do everybody's business. And I just say to Pat, age is only a number. It's attitude that's life. And when Chris and I started this business, we were 65 years old, and it didn't make any difference. It's if you have it at the heart, you care about people, that's what it's all about. You don't have to know everything, thank God. Everybody knows that I'm not the brightest bulb in the lamp, but that's okay. I get things done. I just follow the pattern, the blueprint, and that's all you have to do. That would be the best advice I can give to anybody.
Oh, thank you, Ron.
Okay.
And thank you so much, everybody, for coming. Thank you, Meg, so much for sharing with us tonight. I know, right? Let's give her a hand. It's really very cool, and we're excited to see your growth, and thanks for inspiring us tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.